Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, we bring you a story full of surprises and hidden angles that few people know about. Don't leave just yet. Just when you think you've figured it all out, there are fascinating and meaningful details waiting for you at the end of the video. Let's explore together and uncover the special message this video has for you. Are you ready? Let's get started. With Odoo as today's sponsor, creating a professional website has never been faster, easier, or more accessible. And best of all, it's free. But we'll delve deeper into that later. After many frigid nights and arduous miles, a party approaches a Chinese city, bearing a grim offering. The captive Ambagai Khan, ruler of a nomadic confederation from the desolate northern steppes. Beyond the gates of Jiangdo, the capital of the Jurchen Jin dynasty, the streets teem with curious onlookers as the prisoner is paraded through. A generation earlier, his predecessor, Habu Khan, had ravaged Jin lands and defied its emperor. Now, the current Jin emperor ensures that his disdain for the Mongol leader is unmistakable. Ambagai Khan meets a brutal fate, nailed to a wooden donkey and executed with cruel precision. Yet before his death, he issues a final command to his people, entrusting a lone messenger to carry his words northward. Across the vast expanse of the Gobi Desert, where the dunes give way to golden grasslands, the Mongols receive their leader's dying edict. Take up your bows and arrows, and until the nails of your fingers are ground down, until your 10 fingers are worn away, strive to avenge me. The steppes of Mongolia stretch endlessly, dotted with yurts, mobile dwellings of wood and felt, set against a harsh and unforgiving landscape. Here, the people believe their lives are shaped by the unseen world of spirits inhabiting mountains, rivers, and storm clouds. Shamans, draped in mystic garb, lift the veil of this spiritual realm, chanting to seek wisdom and drive away malevolent forces. The Mongols revere Tingri, the will of heaven, but they remain vulnerable to the schemes of their southern neighbors. Just 3 decades ago, the steppe was under the rule of the Liao dynasty, governed by the Khitans. However, the Jurchen drove the Khitans westward, founding the Jin dynasty in their wake. This upheaval left a fractured power structure on the eastern steppes, where Mongolic and Turkic tribes jostled for dominance, forging alliances through marriage and trade while waging brutal conflicts for plunder and vengeance. Though this region once gave rise to powerful empires like the ancient Xiongnu and Turkic Khaganates, such glories now linger only in faded memories. The Jin dynasty, wary of the Mongols' potential unity, fans the flames of division among the steppe clans. Ambagai Khan's betrayal is a stark reminder of such tactics. While arranging his daughter's marriage to a Tatar leader, he was captured by the Tatars and handed over to the Jin, who orchestrated his execution. This treachery sparks a fire that cannot be extinguished. In response to his final orders, the Mongols rally under a new leader, Kuchula Khan, a warrior of unparalleled ferocity. It is said he was born of the demonic earth of Gorkoni's Jabber, and his voice thunders louder than the mountains roar. Under Kuchula's banner, allied Mongol clans and the Borjigin nobility, including his cunning nephew Yasujiai, answered the call to arms. Lacking the resources for professional armies, most Mongols fight in their everyday robes, wielding formidable composite bows crafted from horn, sinew, and wood. The few who can afford it wear armor of padded leather and metal. These warriors are not soldiers honed in barracks, but survivors shaped by the relentless demands of their environment. Life on the steppes is harsh, with winters that are long and bitterly cold. The Mongols' resilience is born from their constant labor, tending livestock such as sheep, goats, yaks, oxen, and occasionally camels. Their diet reflects this way of life. Dairy products like cheese, yogurt, and fermented mare's milk, known as arag, are staples, complemented by mutton and wild game. In this stark yet vibrant world, forged by hardship and bound by kinship, the Mongols prepare for a reckoning that will echo across history. The power of the Mongols was not born solely from their resilience, but was deeply rooted in their unparalleled mastery of the horse. From the moment they could balance their small bodies, Mongol children were tied to saddles, growing into riders who moved with their mounts as effortlessly as they walked. This lifelong bond with the horse gave them a profound advantage, especially on the battlefield. Their skills were honed in the hunt, a necessity of life on the unforgiving steppes, and sharpened through horseback archery. They practiced tirelessly, testing their aim and coordination in the nurga, a grand ritual. Hunt where riders encircled vast tracts of land, closing in to trap their prey in a precise, calculated advance. Through this constant practice, the Mongols developed an instinctive mastery of mounted combat, a skill that became as natural as breathing. Yet it was not just their training that defined them, but the bitter realities of their existence. Experiences of familial loss, indignity, and unrelenting violence that forged a deep and unyielding hatred for their enemies. The execution of Ambagai Khan, their leader and symbol of pride, was the spark that ignited this hatred into fury. Bound by his brutal death, the Mongols rallied under Kuchula Khan, a leader of ferocious strength and determination. Mounted on their seemingly unremarkable but remarkably resilient horses, animals bred to endure the extremes of the steppe climate, the Mongols launched a series of devastating raids. Their horses, hardy and unyielding, gave them an edge unmatched by any sedentary force. Every Mongol warrior owned multiple mounts, allowing them to ride tirelessly, strike swiftly, and retreat just as effectively. When the Mongols descended upon the camps of the Tatars, the ground trembled beneath the pounding hooves of their steeds. A storm of arrows filled the air as they tore through their enemies, capturing the helpless, plundering treasures, and razing everything in their path. This relentless aggression soon expanded beyond the Tatars, spilling into the vulnerable borderlands of the Jin dynasty. The Mongols, driven by vengeance and ambition, trampled through settlements, killing those who resisted and enslaving others. Livestock was seized, treasures looted, and homes reduced to ash and rubble. These attacks provoked fierce retaliation from their adversaries, creating an unending cycle of violence on the steppes. In such a volatile landscape, alliances were not just advantageous, they were essential. One of the most significant alliances in Mongol history took shape when Kuchula Khan and Yasuji encountered Togrul, a disgraced prince of the Karad people. Once a contender for the throne, Togrul's ambition had led him to kill his brothers, only to be exiled by his uncle Gurkin. Kuchula, wary of Togrul's ruthlessness, warned Yasuji against trusting him. But Yasuji, ever the opportunist, saw potential in the fallen prince. Against advice, he forged a blood brother bond with Togrul, a pact that would bind their destinies. Together, they rallied forces and waged war against Gurkin, ultimately restoring Togrul to his throne. This alliance marked a turning point as it intertwined the fates of their families and laid the foundation for future Mongol unification. Yasuji's cunning and resourcefulness extended beyond politics. He returned from his campaigns to Holan, a woman he had taken as his wife after abducting her from her wedding procession. Struck by her beauty, Yasuji had disregarded her cries and claimed her as his own. Holan bore him a son, Temujin, whose birth was marked by a foreboding omen. The boy was born clutching a blood clot in his fist, a sign of a powerful and destined life. Mongol legends would later elevate Temujin's birth to a divine event, describing it as the will of heaven, shaping a leader destined to change the world. Despite this auspicious beginning, the years following Temujin's birth were fraught with hardship. Kuchula Khan fell in battle, and Yasuji struggled to maintain his authority. Desperate to secure his son's future, he arranged for 9-year-old Temujin to marry Borte, the daughter of a prominent tribal chieftain. However, during his journey home, Yasuji attended a Tatar feast, unaware of the betrayal awaiting him. Poisoned by his hosts, he succumbed to his injuries, leaving his family vulnerable and leaderless. With Yasuji's death, Holan and her children, including Temujin, were abandoned by their clan. The family faced dire circumstances, left to fend for themselves on the harsh steppes. At this point, the Mongols were far from a dominant force. Many of them were enslaved by the Jin dynasty, reduced to mere commodities in the brutal conflicts of the time. It seemed that Yasuji's lineage would fade into obscurity, and the Mongols would remain scattered and subjugated, existing only as a footnote in history. Yet fate had other plans. Against all odds, the boy Temujin would rise from these dire beginnings to become the figure known to history as Genghis Khan. Uniting the fractured Mongol tribes, he would forge an empire that would reshape the world. Much like the Mongols' mastery of their environment, you too can take control of your domain with the power of Odoo. With its intuitive interface and innovative tools, Odoo makes building a professional website not only effortless, but also enjoyable. Offering free hosting, a custom domain for a year, and features like integrated AI copywriting, Odoo equips you with everything you need to succeed. Start your conquest of the digital world today. Your empire awaits. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. If you found this story interesting and meaningful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any exciting content coming up. Leave a comment to share your thoughts. We're eager to hear from you. See you in the upcoming videos with more unique and meaningful stories. Stay with us.